Hi everyone, welcome back. It's my AK Swedish Whiskey Girl, and today we're here with a quite new release. This is from the Glasgow Distillery 1770 and it's called the Cooper's Cask release. This was a very limited release that they did recently. I think it's already sold out unfortunately, but it was retailing at £59 and they were only available through their website. And this is an interesting little kind of, let's call it, like this expression, because it's unpeated spirit that was maturing in a port cask since 2015 and then transferred I can't speak today transferred into another cask that is a collaboration between two really good coopers from both the Glasgow Distillery Company and the Kelvin Cooperage in the US. So they took heavily charred oak staves from the Kelvin Cooperage and also combined it with another half from the Glasgow Distillery so that they could create this handmade cask that had a little bit of both in it, and that's where they finished it. So it's called the Cooper's Cask release, and it's kind of an homage to the art of coopering, which seems so difficult. I had the pleasure of going to the Speyside Cooperage when we were last up in Speyside, and it's just, I can kind of see why it takes 4 years to learn how to do it. It's just amazing that they're managing to do these things without any kind of things like glue or anything to keep them all together, and that they're tight and can keep whiskey for so many years. This, did I say? This sits at 53.3% ABV. It's Cask 15/087, distilled on the 12th of July 2015 and bottled on the 27th of March 2021. So let's start by having a little look on the nose. Oh, it's quite musty straight away. I wonder if it's that kind of port cask influence that you get, because it's quite murky, like autumn leaves, and quite fruity still. I'm sorry, my neighbour is singing. I'm just going to close the window. And we're back to nosing. Quite honeyed, almost like a honey melon fruitiness. And a bit of definitely reminds me of a red, like a fruity red wine, but something that's like quite light, like I don't know. It has this kind of musty grape juiceness. Oh, and I don't know if I said the spirit's unpeated as well. That murky note could come from the virgin or the heavily charred virgin oak staves as well. It gives something like a sweet tone, but murky without being too woody, but more fruity. And then that honey note, almost like strawberries, but not as fresh and sweet, more like you've mushed it together with maybe blackberries and grapes to create this kind of more musty, dark notes. A lovely nose. I think it's quite intriguing and quite thick, it feels. If a scent can feel thick in texture. Ugh. It's one of those whiskies where I can just sit and nose it for a really long time, but we are going to try it, so slàinte mhath. Ooh, first whiskey of the day, 53%. It's lovely, but just a bit of a kick. With that said, this straight away gives off a really great impression. It's fruity and juicy, and there's things coming out, and it has this kind of warming sensation. And it reminds me of something that is so intense in flavour that it could be a single cask. It just has that single cask intensity to it. It's unchill filtered and natural colour as well. I don't know if I said that at the end. Seems I'm a bit all over the place with my thoughts today. But the nose feels a little bit woodier now, but the sensation of it is just so big on the first sip. So let's have another one. Still think I get that honey melon note, but with a sweet citrus, maybe like candied lemon. It is quite thick on the palate as well. Really delicious. Almost has the same kind of juiciness and fruitiness that you would find in something like a Glenlivet Nadura first fill ex-bourbon. I don't know, now on the nose it's something kind of like burnt meets dried. Like burnt orange and dried, I want to say dried grapes, but it's not quite raisins. A really interesting one to kind of just sit with. We're going to have one more sip and then I'm going to get some water for it and see what happens with a few drops of water. I mean, this is the type of whiskey that I really like. It's sweet and juicy and quite orangey now. Now I'm curious. I'm gonna get some water and we'll see what happens. Ta-da! Let's go for a little bit of water. Add a few drops at a time. Ooh. Immediately started feeling quite tropical. Almost like a rum. Yeah, there's something coastal meets tropical fruits. It makes me think of pirates. I don't know really why, but like pineapple, almost like a pineapple rum. It could be the intensity of the virgin oak staves that have an influence that makes it just feel different. That it just turns up the intensity in combination with the export. It's just an interesting build-up of it in the maturation. I'm quite intrigued. Definitely feels sweeter and more tropical on the nose, almost like a rum, and it almost has a kind of, yeah, it's like a pirate with the water. It's a bit of a pirate one. If that's any tasting notes you can ever give to a whiskey. But let's have a look on the taste again. Definitely holds up well to water. Still has the intensity, even though I added quite a few drops of water. For the sake of filming this, instead of just sitting and adding a few drops and a few drops, I wanted to add quite a lot of drops straight away. So it's almost like a teaspoonful of water to see what happens straight away. It holds up really well, and it has this lovely woodiness that isn't dry at all. It is quite spicy, has a bit of that kind of brown sugar cinnamon mix in it, and then that fruit, and the fruit is what lingers. It really kind of hangs on to my palate, or clings on, maybe is the word. I mean, it is very intense. Yeah, and it has a kind of slight burnt orange, the cinnamon brown sugar, the woodiness, which is this kind of bonfire wood. It just, I really like this. This is, I should have bought a bottle, shouldn't I? Let's add a little bit more water just because I'm interested to see what happens with it. It is calming down on the nose, but it's still quite intriguing and fresh and tropical. This batch of water calmed it down even more. It just took the sharp edge out of it. And when I say a sharp edge, I'm not saying it's an unpleasant sharp edge, it's just the intensity that it was what I got on the first sip. It's just that kind of thing that, it's like someone making a grand entrance on stage saying like, hello, here I am. That's the kind of thing that this whiskey does to you because it has this intensity. And then the intensity is super lovely, in my opinion. Now it's kind of calmed down, but it's still, the flavours are still there. So it can hold up quite a lot of water, which is lovely to see. Because it means that you can choose without losing the flavour. So you can drink it at 53 if you want to, but you can also bring it down with 2 teaspoons of water. Oh, what was that? Water, and still feel like you're retaining all the flavours, but you just calm it down a little bit. I'm very impressed by this. It's probably one of the nicest things I've tried in a long time. Not saying I've not tried good whiskey, but this was just something that suits my palate really well. It's juicy, it has the intensity, it has a lot of things going on, so it's quite a good complexity to it. I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you managed to get a hold of the Cooper Cask release, or is there another one from 1770 that you really enjoy? Or maybe another Glasgow one that you're just thinking that this is something special for me? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, I hope you've enjoyed this video and would consider leaving a little thumbs up and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, if you want to support the channel, I'd be absolutely thrilled if you'd consider using my affiliate links the next time you're shopping with either Master Malt, the Whisky Exchange, or the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. And as always, I also want to say a massive thank you to my wonderful supporters on Patreon. I'm so grateful I have your support on my whisky journey. But I hope you've all had an absolutely wonderful day. Sláinte Skål!